Hello, I'm Brigham Avery, host and creator of Hollywood and Ivy.
And I'm Joe Mantegna, executive producer and lifelong Cub fan. And I've got something to do with Hollywood and Ivy, too.
Joe, it's been a great first 7 episodes of Hollywood and Ivy, hasn't it? We've done 7 so far.
It's been great. It's been
been
really
amazing.
great. A lot of fun.
First year.
So what are we doing today, Brig?
Today, we're going to take a 7th inning stretch right now because we've done 7 episodes. That's why we're standing. We're stretching. And
How
so
apropos, 7th inning stretch.
we thought we'd show the fine folks at home the first 7 episode highlights of Hollywood and Ivy. So,
And the lowlights.
and the lowlights. So,
There are no lowlights. We're Cub fans.
check them out right now.
For me, I go back to the '69 team, and because I was young then.
Oh, yeah.
I was young and really tuned into the Cubs, and that was the first time that we had really seen them, that I had seen them
successful.
go that far. Yeah, be successful, go that far. Very disappointing, obviously, but we always had that hope, and we had that hope in '84, and we had that hope along the way, and then that team, this World Series team really felt like it was just going to happen. You felt it was going to happen.
Gary, the first time you saw Wrigley Field live in person, you felt fill in the blank.
Young kid walking into that stadium for the first time, it was overwhelming. And then when the players were on the field and you're down there, I ran down. I think we were up above. I tried to sneak down there to get close to the players, and my gosh, it's magical. And every time I walk in there, it feels the same. I mean, it's just such a special spot, especially for people that grew up watching the Cubs.
I'm Romanian. My relatives are gypsies. We believe in curses and stuff. In fact, I tried to do an exorcism in 1984. And my grandmother was the expert on how to try to lift it and stuff. And the problem is she says you need to have the hair of the goat. And I literally went to the Billy Goat Tavern and said, are there any relatives of the goat still alive and stuff? And I couldn't find the hair of the goat. I did a little mock.
From the Lincoln Park Zoo, maybe a little sample of the goat there.
The thing, and obviously it didn't work.
In 2016, when that happened, what was the thought that went through your head? Did you believe it? Did it resonate with you, or did it take a while for it to set in? Did you? How did that feel?
I literally,
because they did exercise the
when
demons.
when Bryant got the ground ball, and he got up to throw it and then slipped a little. It was almost like the Bartman thing, that moment of, but it didn't happen. He got it to Rizzo, and they won. And I just literally sat there in silence and started crying. I never thought I would ever see them be in a World Series, let alone win a World Series. And it was number 1 on my bucket list. That was it. Number 2 was the Bears winning a Super Bowl.
I think it's the greatest game for a lot of reasons. There's no clock on it. I think I liked the fact of the pauses in between the action. I think that's maybe even one of the more interesting parts of the game is when the ball is not in play and there's anticipation. I hear a lot about now, the game is too slow, and it is slower, and there's, when you use 51 pitchers in a game, it's going to be slower. So that is different. I get that. But the pace of the game doesn't bother me. I'm enhanced by it, especially if stuff is on the line. It's just, and a great announcer fills in all those spaces.
Do you have a favorite baseball movie?
There's a lot. But I'd have to say The Natural is probably my favorite. Yeah. It's mythic. Great characters. I like the fact that it's period, so it takes a look at that, baseball back in a more primitive time. But it's just a great story. And recently I read the book, which is very different.
Very different. I've heard that's
very different.
I'm scared to read the book because I've heard there's a very different ending
It's
that I
very, very different.
wouldn't want to hear. Yes.
But still worth a read. But it's not, it's not what we know of as that movie. That mythic hero.
It's interesting. I haven't, as you said this, I realized that there is a Wrigley and a Cubs connection
because Roy Hobbs goes and breaks the clock. And remember,
Right.
Glenn Close goes to see him and she stands up and
Right.
yeah, and Nights at Wrigley today.
Right,
That's
and
the-
all of that, that,
Yeah.
that little like soda fountain
Oh, yeah.
under the L tracks
Right,
that they
right.
eat at in her apartment. And it's all
and
right
the music, the kind of Randy Newman scored that.
Right.
You know, just the whole
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it all works in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of the greatest memories of that 2016 run is there's so many. Obviously, you've had a lot of guests on the show, and JOE MANTEGNA, Chris Chelios, Eddie Vedder, Bill Murray. There's so many, famous Cubs fans. And when they were on that run in the World Series and the playoffs, all those people were around, and it was fun for me to see them all become their 9-year-old selves. They were all so excited to see this happening.
Like Christmas morning.
Yeah, and Eddie Vedder is one of the most passionate fans. Chris Chelios had his 50th birthday at a Cubs fantasy camp. So all these people were just, celebrating this, magical run. And I remember before Game 6 in Cleveland, a bunch of these folks had kind of assembled ad hoc in the Four Seasons hotel bar or whatever. And the great thing was Eddie Vedder is one of the biggest rock stars in the world. I mean, everywhere he goes, it's like he's mobbed. He didn't have any security. He was like just hanging out as a fan with his Cubs jersey on. So the word kind of got out that he's in this bar. So all these people were assembling. And I was like, oh man, this sucks. Like he just wants to be like baseball fan, like just for a night. So I thought, because I'm stupid, I'll just act like I'm a security guard. So I kind of just started standing there like this.
Oh, yeah.
But people kind of like knew me because I was like Shoeless Joe Jackson in the movie.
Right.
So people were kind of like, and he played for the Indians, and they're like, but they were kind of playing along like it was a bit. So then, but I thought I was playing it off.
yeah.
I
You're
thought
like,
people
Liberty
were
is
buying
moving.
it. Yeah, I had a kind of a big jacket on.
Right,
I kinda,
right, yeah.
I had a face and everything.
You're
So,
an imposing figure when you want to be.
yeah, I was leaning forward. People
right.
were staying back. And so then finally, I kind of escorted him down to the car. He gets in the car, and he drives away. And I'm like, I'm such a good actor. I just convinced everybody that I'm a security guard. And then they were like, well, will you sign? And I was like, oh, crap. So anyway, ended up signing a bunch of baseballs and then went into the game like a normal, fan. And it was just a great experience.
But yeah, that's a kid's dream, to be able to go out there, to be a fan and think, geez, wouldn't it be cool to be that guy? When you're a kid and you see somebody come out there wearing the jersey and throwing out the pitch. And to think that that's actually happened for me numerous times and that I've gotten to know the owners and the managers and the players and the announcers. Yeah, as a baseball fan, there's certainly nothing better. And I never take that for granted. I know that's kind of rarefied air. And so, yeah, it's a wonderful position to be in, and I'm forever grateful. It's one of the perks of being in showbiz.
Being you.
Being me.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's good to be me.
That's right. Now, since 2016, Joe, in your opinion, will the Cubs forever, as they say in Vegas, be playing with the house's money? Is your soul satisfied? Is all that's wrong been right in the world?
Personally,
so on and so forth?
personally, mine is, because I have to think. I have to think of my mom and think it took her 100 years for the deal to get closed. So why should I be greedier than that? In other words, I'm not going to be critical. I'm not going to be jaded to the point of like, what's the matter? Why aren't they doing it again? Come on.
I couldn't agree more. My soul is
My
totally
feeling
satisfied.
I feel fortunate because for all we know, it could have gone on for another 100 years. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that was a special team, a special time. I mean, yes, God willing, and hopefully they're going to close the deal a lot sooner than another 80, 90 years from now. But if not, I'm good with it.
I was afraid of the ball, definitely afraid of the ball. I could not hit it. I think it was just fear. I'll never forget Johnny O'Sullivan's dad was umpiring, and I swang. He called ball, and I swang.
Yeah.
And he goes, strike. Yeah. He had
That was
already
your introduction.
He had already called it a ball.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I was just like, hey, is it gonna hit? And I think the first hot grounder I ever really stayed down on took a bad hop and hit me right in the
Oh, my
nose. You know
God.
what I mean?
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was on one
Right.
of these guys catching grounders, and so I sucked.
Yeah.
Baseball not my thing. Softball, okay. Except for those 16-inch clinchers. Like
Oh, yeah.
you get the finger jammed, and
Those can hurt.
I don't know. Softball, I wasn't. No, they weren't throwing it fast.
Right, right.
You could bat.
Yeah.
The first Cubs game I went to, I'm going to guess I was 11. And it was right when I would say my grandpa, I had an uncle who was a crazy diehard Cubs fan, and everyone kind of switched over to the Cubs. But just because they were so accessible. Now, the White Sox were on Channel 32, and the signal wasn't very good. And so, yeah. Also, you're a kid, and you're those daytime things on TV, you see them. Especially on a hot summer day, you go swimming, you come home, and you're kind of wiped out in that great way that you are as a kid after you swim.
With the summer heat, you're
It's
exhausted.
just great.
Yeah.
And then you put the TV on, there's Cubs.
Absolutely.
But the first game I went to, I'm going to say I was around 10 or 11. And that would be where I learned that Wrigley Field can actually be cold. Even if it's sunny out, you can be kind of cold.
What's your favorite part about Wrigley Field? What do you enjoy the most about the friendly confines?
The vibe in that place is unbelievably special. And those are things that I don't even know if you can engineer. It's a little bit, it's not so uniform, right? It's an old stadium. It's 1914, right? And I mean, the bleachers are built up now. It's different than it was, but it still feels patched together a bit, homemade. The ivy is amazing. The closeness of everybody, it feels like an very old place in a great way, like you're part of history. It just feels like what baseball should feel like. And you can just feel like you'd spend all day there, which baseball games go on a long time.
Fergie.
Yeah.
Was your favorite player growing up?
Well, he's certainly somebody I noticed, and he was a great pitcher, and it's the name that sticks in your head, Ron Santo, Pepitone, Fergie Jenkins, and everybody in that. And Leo DeRocher was the coach. That's the team that I first started to watch.
Boy, that was amazing. Those are some great, great highlights of interviews, weren't they?
It really was, and I was most impressed by the fact that, being an actor myself, that my fellow thespians were so knowledgeable about the Cubs and about baseball, which is, a very admirable trait.
The passion is so great, and what's so great, Joe, is the shared passion that everyone had so far.
Yeah, we've all had we've had over 100 years of waiting for that passion to be,
Yes,
to
the
be
passion
realized.
and the pain.
And there we go. There's the proof right there.
Yeah, absolutely. The final result.
Okay.
Well,
Stick around for the blooper part of our show.
after this
Great.
on Hollywood and Ivy. So now we're going to look at some of the, the high-low lights, or some of the maybe the bloopers that we had.
Yeah, there was a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
There are no low lights with the
Right,
Cubs,
right,
just
right.
kind of fun lights.
Exactly, fun lights. So
Well, let's see what we got.
let's check out some of the fun lights right now on Hollywood and Ivy. Welcome back to Hollywood and Ivy. We've been visiting with Gary. So funny, because you said Gary, I said, all right, go Gary. And welcome back to Hollywood and Ivy. We're visiting with. Welcome to Hollywood and Ivy. I got it. And welcome back to Hollywood and Ivy, where Sunset Boulevard meets Addison and Clark. Today we're visiting with Gary.
You're going to have to do that all over again.
No. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I gotta take a. Do I have to take the mic off? Okay. We did that already. Adrian, yeah, maybe. Welcome, Adrian Zmed.
Brigadude.
So
That ball has the Dodgers logo.
I know, please don't say anything. We got it at the gift shop over here. It was a last minute thing. Please don't say that on the show, but you're hilarious, man. We'll just send it to the network as is. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But, so Gary, talk about the first time you smoked. Is that what you're looking for? Okay, great. I love the leather. Are you in a motorcycle gang?
I know.
DB, we've had a great time talking today, specifically. Man, I gotta think of a question.
Whoa. What happened?
Chair came off. Yeah.
My chair fell apart.
Thank you. Thank you, Clay. You're sweet. All right. Tell me, Gary, when was the first time you actually got drunk and passed out at Wrigley? All right.
1974.
Oh, yeah, we've
probably.
had first episode of Cops.
Yeah.
And you created something called the Steppenwolf Theater, an amazing accomplishment. Talk about how that came to be.
Oh,
Perfect. All right. I think it's going great.
I didn't know. Sure, yeah.
Please just watch your language.
Did I?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Hello, I'm Brigham Avery, And welcome to Hollywood and Ivy. Not how they...
Yeah, anytime there's a camera on, it's always dangerous. You can up and ruin your life. He might get up and slap you.
Oh, God. Oh!
I mean, you never know what could happen.
Gary, you have some great footage of you singing the 7th at Wrigley Field, wearing your favorite number. Just give me the... And we'll be back with more Adrian's Mad on Hollywood and Ivy after this break.
Adrian's man, I thought he was dead.
Do we have the ball for him to sign, or is that, is anybody here? You know, I'm trying to think of what else I have to, what other questions do I
think you covered your whole sheet there.
How long do we have? Because I'm Brigham Avery. We're sitting, no, do it again. I'm Albert Brooks broadcast newsing right now. That happens when you go to Shaq's barber, you know.
There you go, Hollywood and
It's right
Vine.
there, Hollywood and Ivy.
Hollywood.
It's close enough, man. It's perfect.
Who are the other guests you've had?
We had Bill Veck. No, I'm kidding. So look at the camera, ready? All right. And that's gonna do it for Hollywood and Ivy. Thanks so much for watching. Tune in next time. And that's gonna do it for this. That's gonna do it for this version of Hollywood and Ivy. I just set on my microphone. And it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And I think that Leon Durham is probably the most underrated Cub of all time. Ron Say probably really was a Penguin. You know, I wonder if he was Burgess Meredith in another life, specifically Rick Sutcliffe.
Leon Durham.
Yeah. See you all next time. Enjoy and yeah. We'll be back with more on future episodes. This is all right. Where Sunset Boulevard meets Addison and Clark. All right, we'll be back with more on the next episode. Adrian's Med, Joe Montana. I'm Brigham Avery. Catch us next time on Hollywood and Ivy.
He just said Joe Montana.
Montana. I said Montana. I swear I said Montana.
When did you play for the 49ers?
So I tell you, those clips, they're reminiscent of when I was at a Cub game and there were 2 baseballs on the field. But that's a whole other story. So Brig, what other kind of guests are we looking forward to coming up?
Joe, I'm excited to tell you that coming up in the next year, we have James Belushi.
Our good friend Jim Belushi,
Yes,
yep.
yes. Bonnie Hunt.
Bonnie Hunt, I
is
love
gonna
Bonnie
join us
Hunt.
as well. Vince Vaughn.
It's Vaughn,
Mary Lou Henner.
Mary Lou Henner. The hits keep on
Bill
coming.
Hader.
Bill Hader.
Yes, the list is endless. So
Loved it. I did Barry with Bill. Got to play myself. Loved it.
it was a great episode. A great 2 episodes.
Thank you.
Perfect. So let's take a look at some of the upcoming guests and the stars we have on Hollywood and Ivy.
All Cub fans.
Hi, Cheryl. I like cake too.
All right, I'll split it with you. I'll split it with you, okay? What? I said I'd split it with you. Here. Shot I snapped and fetched the home run ball mark racing the Cubs in the World Series. Did you see that spectacular catch?
¿Qué pasa, Diego? Tell me, what happened?
What can I say? I like to kill.
Kill like a comedian at the Apollo?
No, like murder.
Ah.
All right. I'm Clark, and I like biscuits and waffles.
Tell us more about Clark.
He was another grunt in my platoon.
Maggie, I know the dog dies. Everyone knows the dog dies. It's the book where the dog dies.
We don't have time for this, okay?
I know, but he's a kid and he was trying to help.
All right, come on.
Thank you. Don't cry at the beginning of a date. Yeah, just cry at the end like I do.
Do you ever think we should be more strict with the kids?
No, honey, we give them love and guidance, and that's, what else is there really?
Those are great.
Do you love them?
Well, they're interesting. I've not seen those in the Payless window. Where are those?
I'm sure you're an excellent waiter. However, we know another waiter from the establishment at which he worked formerly, and Alex Rieger is his name. We would very much like for him to serve us. I hope you understand.
Not entirely, but I'll get him.
Oh, thank you so much. Why am I talking like the Queen of England?
Sheila has been studying the art of conversation.
Oh, you're taking a course in conversation?
Yes.
You should never have more than 7 things on. Like your earrings count for 2 points, those daisies count for 3 points. But the best thing to do is right before you go out, look in the mirror and turn around real fast and the first thing that catches your eye, get rid of it.
That's how I got
Just get rid of it. I mean, I had this thing in my hair before I left, remember? And I pulled it right out, because as soon as I turned, gone.
Alliteration aside, I think I'll take my chances in the tournament.
Yeah, you will take your chances.
I know. I just said that.
I know you just said that.
Okay, I'm not sure where you're going with
Well,
this.
I'm not sure where you're going with this.
That's what I just said.
Well, that's what I'm saying to you.
Oh, come on. You know what? No, that's not what I want.
You just said that you want me to help you do the
I
dishes.
want you to want to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes?
Oh, that's Myling's adopted son, Randy, the veterinarian.
Sloan would now like me to take him to the bathroom and then get him some crab cakes. So yeah, no, that's okay.
Boy, we got some great guests coming up. It's very impressive.
We've got a great list of guests. And all Cub fans.
Murderers Row.
There you go.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of fun hanging out here today, Joe. In our
A whole lot of fun.
Our
And
set at
plus,
Universal.
I have a little something that I think we can put on the set.
You mentioned that. You brought.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Look at, unbelievable.
A little something from Catalina Island, where the Cubs, you Cub fans out there understand this, and if you're not a Cub fan and you're watching the show, just know that the Cubs trained at Catalina Island from 1921 to 1951.
But nothing really captures the spirit of Hollywood and Ivy. I thought more than this pennant and more than some of the, the memories the Cubs had at Catalina Island. So
Yes, and hopefully there's going to be
share
a lot more memories with the Cubs and with years like
positive memories, good memories.
2016. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's take a look back at some of the great moments of the Cubs spring training at Catalina Island. And we'd like to thank you for watching the bloopers and highlights episode of Hollywood and Ivy.
Baseball season's underway. Well, you better get ready for a brand new day. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. They're singing, Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. They got the power, they got the speed to be the best in the National League. Well, this is the year and the Cubs are in. So come on down to Wrigley Field. We're singing now, Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Baseball time is here again. You can catch it all on WGN. So stamp your feet and clap your hands. Chicago Cubs got the greatest fans. I hear 'em singing now. Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Let's go! Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Hit the man! Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Hey, Chicago, what do you say?
Hollywood and Ivy was filmed live at Universal Studios in Hollywood, California. Hollywood and Ivy is a presentation of Brigham Avery Productions.